Hello, hooligans, and welcome back. The other day I started talking a little bit about Zone 2 and how we need to make sure when we're talking about zones, and whether it's Zone 1 or Zone 2 or Zone 3 or whatever, we need to make sure that we're speaking the same language as the person who we are talking to. Because Zone 2 does not mean the same thing to all people. And really what we're trying to convey is what are the energy systems used for that bit of training. So I personally mostly use a 5-zone model, and which is the kind of one of the models that most of the people who are talking about Zone 2 training and the importance of Zone 2 training, they're speaking the same language as me. So for the most part, when I'm talking about Zone 2, I'm talking mostly about the Zone 2 that like is being discussed on Twitter so constantly. And so the important thing about Zone 2 is not necessarily that it is Zone 2. And so like there are plenty of national governing bodies and sports and coaches who don't think that, like, they don't use a Zone 1 and a Zone 2. They have one zone for all of that because they think that it doesn't fucking matter if you're training easier than Zone 2. All of this stuff in this low intensity bracket is kind of the same. And that's kind of how I have started to see it too. I think that for most athletes, the difference between Zone 1 and Zone 2 in my model, in my language, isn't very much. And a lot of athletes on a lot of days will actually benefit more. Their training will progress faster if they trained a lower intensity. And there's a couple reasons for that. So the biggest benefits of Zone 2 training, which we can just call easy training. So the biggest benefits of easy training are, first and foremost, that it gives you space around your hard workouts. So I'm actually not a big fan of having many like medium days at all. For the most part, you should have days that are hard, days that you're loading, days that you're adding stress, and then days that are fairly easy, days when you are, maybe it might be a 2-hour workout, but it's easy. And then the next day you're going back to going hard. So in that case, Zone 2 isn't really about, easy training isn't about what it is, it's about what it isn't. It isn't stressful, it isn't fatiguing, it isn't hard. It's a lot about the things that it isn't. And some of the reason why I think that is that there isn't a whole lot of scientific data saying that like easy training is really the thing to do because of X. Most intensities kind of give you roughly the same benefits. Like you're gonna build mitochondria, you're gonna build stroke volume, you're gonna build all of these things at all the different intensities. So nothing does anything differently. But because easy training requires so little rest, you can just do more of it. And now there's some studies starting to come out that are kind of agreeing with this. Essentially, there's different mechanisms by which easy training and hard training signal the adaptation. And the kind of signals that you're getting from hard training have a limit. You can only stress that, you can only push that button so many times before the button stops working. Whereas the button that you're pushing for the easier training is a button that you can push a bajillion times and you're still going to get the same response out of it. So there's, in a nutshell, why we do easy training. Because you can do a lot of it, and because it allows you space to do your really hard key efforts. Questions? Let us know.